felt the aftershocks of this event as much as we have here. I think the event itself of October 7th was shocking. Sinwar has had no interest in agreeing to a ceasefire and hostage negotiation deal, that the terms that were being presented by the United States in particular were rejected or changed multiple times by Hamas, even in recent weeks. It has been made very clear that a strong and vigorous response in the interest of deterrence and in defense of Israel's national security is coming.
Hello and welcome to this special broadcast on October 7th on Oneindia News. This is me, Ansh Pandey, with you. Viewers, exactly 1 year ago, the barbarism of Hamas crossed all its limits. They entered Israel, and then what happened after that, everyone knows. Right now, Israel is fighting on three fronts: Hezbollah, Houthis, even the Hamas war is continuing, and now it also looks like that Iran might jump in the war. To talk on this occasion, we have got Dr. Sara Yael Hirschhorn, a renowned historian, to talk about this event and what she expects in the future. So Sara, once again, welcome on this special interview.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
As a historian, firstly, I will like to ask you that how do you see the event of October 7, 2023, and what do you believe how it is going to change the history in the coming future?
Well, absolutely. October 7th was a world historical event. The ruptures that it has that have come after it have affected not only the region, but I think all around the world. Certainly, your viewers in India have felt the aftershocks of this event as much as we have here. I think the event itself of October 7th was shocking. Jews consider it to be the bloodiest day in Jewish history since the Holocaust, which itself is a chapter in Jewish history. But everything that has come after, I think, both in terms of the wars on multiple fronts that you've mentioned that still remain unresolved, as well as the real turn in public opinion and, frankly, government opinion against Israel in the last year, as well as the dramatic spikes of anti-Semitism across the West and in other locations, certainly call into question the history of the 20th century, what lessons have been learned from the past, particularly from the Holocaust, and what we see going forward.
Sara, another question for you is that what do you see? What is the potential end game for all this ruckus that is right now going inside the Middle East? What do you believe? Is it going to be the end of resistance? That is the only solution for all this, what is happening there?
Well, look, I think that all of these multiple fronts that Israel is currently fighting can be traced back to one source, which is Iran and Iranian-backed proxies with Hamas, with Hezbollah, the Houthis, and other actors in the region. Unless Israel and the West definitively confront Iran, particularly their nuclear program and other resources, but they're also their ability to promulgate terror across the world, and not only in Israel. This is also, Iran is interfering in elections in the United States. They are supporting protests on the street across the West. They are disseminating disinformation and misinformation and propaganda throughout the world. They have reformed the geostrategic map with a variety of different alliances that they have made with both Western and non-Western regimes. Unless Israel and the West have the courage to definitively confront Iran, I think the war will never end. Perhaps there will be shorter-term strategies to diminish the power of Hamas and Hezbollah, but these are really only going to be one phase of a much longer war.
Okay, so yeah, definitely, as you stated, that is Iran that is actually pulling all the strings. Sara, one more aspect. Actually, I was scrolling through the Twitter and I found your account and I was actually researching about it. Is the problem of hostages. In your honest opinion, do you see and do you believe that the hostage situation, approximately around 100 hostages are still there in Israel, and most of them have no clue and there are no traces of them? So do you think that IDF and Netanyahu government, to be more specifically, mishandled this situation
I think the Netanyahu government certainly did mishandle this situation. Even the military and intelligence establishment has said so publicly. So myself as a layperson can only agree with the assessment of the experts on this issue. Yet at the same time, it's been made very clear that Yahya Sinwar has had no interest in agreeing to a ceasefire and hostage negotiation deal, that the terms that were being presented by the United States in particular were rejected or changed multiple times by Hamas, even in recent weeks. So it's hard for me to see how Israel can negotiate with a bad faith actor, not only one who kidnapped these hostages to begin with, but executed 6 of them on the eve of the conclusion of a ceasefire agreement only a few weeks ago. So I'm not sure that any deal could be made here, and my heart absolutely breaks for the 100 hostages that we believe may still be alive. Their welfare and condition is obviously extremely poor and dangerous, and every day that goes by is one day closer to death for them. So I despair as to what the resolution of this may be, and I can only pray that some of them are still alive, and eventually we will see them come home.
Sara, for just one last question. Just last week, we all saw what happened. Iran came back fighting IDF, and barrage of missiles, at least it was a blanket on multiple cities from Tel Aviv, even Jerusalem, even Haifa, all the cities were targeted. What do you think that October 7 right now is going on? Are you seeing any response coming from IDF to the Iranian regime actually for this attack?
So I spent last Tuesday in my bomb shelter here in Jerusalem, in my building. We were there for about an hour with sirens, constant sirens, and booms in the background where we could hear that Iron Dome had been shooting down over 180 ballistic missiles that Iran sent to Israel. It was certainly a very, very frightening evening. And everyone here in Israel is holding their breath to await the response by the IDF. The government and the defense establishment has been made very clear that a strong and vigorous response in the interest of deterrence and in defense of Israel's national security is coming. I myself believed it was going to start last night or this morning, the symbolic date of October 7th, that Israel would strike Iran on this anniversary as a signal or some kind of sign of its capacity. I'm rather surprised that so far nothing has happened today, but I imagine that the strike is coming any moment now, and it will be significant. Certainly, the United States apparently is very concerned that Israel will strike either nuclear facilities or oil refineries, and is trying to talk Israel out of that by offering a kind of quid pro quo of a defense and diplomatic package in exchange for Israel's target selection. I don't know whether the Netanyahu government will take that deal. I think Israel and the United States national security interests and, frankly, electoral interests have diverged at this point, and I'm not sure that that Israel will necessarily abide by the United States conditions in terms of what targets it will strike. But I am very sure that Israel will retaliate at some point in the near future, and that strike will deal a blow to the Iranian regime, if perhaps short of some of the worst case scenario targets that we've been hearing about in the news.
Well, Sara, once again, thank you for this special space for your precious time for this interview. And actually, I hope to talk more about this, but time constraint is something that we are actually right now, and even possibly you too. So that's for right now. But yes, definitely, if Iran attacks and something happens, we'll definitely come back to you for some more insights about this war, surely.
Please do, and I appreciate the Indian public's interest in the anniversary of October 7th and honoring the victims of that day and the history that has unfolded since then. So thank you very much for speaking with me.
Thank you, ma'am. So viewers, as you see, this was Dr. Sara Yael Hirschhorn with us in this special interview. We'll dive more into the details on what happened on October 7th. So stay tuned at One India News for all the coverage of this war and all the geopolitical happenings across the globe. Thank you once again for watching this space.